Hello guys. So it seems there were some audio issues in my last video. This should now be fixed. I was previously asked why Caldeum Queen wasn't seen so much in PvP, and I'm just going to be addressing that, explaining how she works, and then why that just doesn't cut it nowadays. So let's get started. She's pretty much been made to work in midline. If you're using her in backline, it's not going to work that well. She does have some insane self-healing, who means that you're not going to be investing so much in survival as much as you're going to be investing in speed. If you look at her stats, though, power is first, technique second, speed is third, but vitality honestly doesn't matter because of her kit. Since she heals so much after one or two hits, it pretty much feels like the bigger vitality of the group. Um, Now, if we're going to be looking down at her skills, overall they all sound pretty good, but eventually you realize it doesn't work out. First thing, penetrate, become immune to counter attack, increase attack power by 70, critical damage by 50. It's a good penetration. There's a 10-minute cooldown. It works. It just works. Overwhelming energy. Increase attack power by 30%, reflex by 30% of allies in position. The good thing is it does not have the issue of stacking with stuff like Lin Mei, with Marianne. That's very common in Wormwind, who's kind of a problem there. So that's also pretty good. It's attack power, not crit rate. Charge of Bull, Demon King, increase critical rate 30%, critical damage 30%, decrease incoming damage by 30%. Overall, a pretty decent buff. The thing is, the decrease incoming damage is just not that important since the following skill recover 50% of life with an attack or pass. Now again, it's very strong because if, for example, she attacks and then passes to frontline, even in PvP she will heal 50%. In PvE she will heal 100%. So it's very broken. Um, Now, if we look at the chains, overall they're pretty damn good too. We have Curran here in affection. In friendship, we have Miriam and we have Iru. You shouldn't be running Iru nor Miri. Then in competition, we have Xing. He's decent. It depends how you use him. And we have Evelyn, who's one of the best Wormwind passers in frontline. And she has a Nemesis chain with Metatron, who pretty much means it's always active. And Sharp, not as good, but still pretty damn decent. So why is it that this player is not considered good? Well, in a fast version, it's going to be because she doesn't have a big effect on the game in the sense that she can bring the ball front. It's pretty decent. You got to really work on those speed subs, but she can do it, but that's all she does. She's in a way kind of selfish. She buffs herself in two skills, and this is a very standard line buff. What we're all using nowadays is a midline that buffs the team. This is why you will see Celestia, you will see Metatron, you will see Curl, you will even see Beth over her just because she doesn't bring anything to the team. She doesn't have some really good reverse chains and just doesn't bring that much value. She's able to penetrate and bring the ball front, but that's really all she does, and that's not what people are looking in the current meta. Even Victoria, when she's attacked, has a better line buff and will revive the line, who is why she's not considered that great. And then that is really going to be accentuated by her Spirit Stone slots, just because she really needed that Thunder slot, who she doesn't have for the best unique. Now, if you want, you can re-roll her, but she's just not that great, so I would not advise it. Of course, I'm not going to say she's as bad as many of the Season 1 players, but in the current meta, when you see players popping out like Armel, like that new Ardor passer, who are kind of all broken, it just doesn't hold a candle. So if we're looking stone wise, ideally, if you're willing to reroll, this will clearly be the best stone. Calm Icicle, attack power with a steel, decrease incoming damage when you're not holding, increase action speed. And if you even want to be kind of funky, you can go for light speed, more reflex, more spirit. It's all of it is going to be pretty damn good. Both of those are some great stones. The thing is, she doesn't come with the base slot. Now the thing is, she does heal a lot, so you don't want to give her anything that heals. So stuff like encompassing soul don't make any sense anymore. Um, you want her to have enough critical rate, and ideally, you want her to increase her speed because again, it's with attack or pass. So if her life is too low, she might decide not to move, especially if they're holding the ball. So you want to give her something that makes her fast enough that she won't be getting destroyed too early on. And then she'll just be so high on life, people will just cower and not attack her. Now, for this, there are many different options. Of course, the most logical option would have been Ancient Stormer. It gives action speed, it gives action bar, but I do want to point out, since again, she doesn't give that much to the line or the team, you could instead throw a Neo TS. Why? Because it decreases the action speed of the line, and it's going to be increasing the damage resistance of your allies, giving you, in a way, kind of a nice line buff for a stone who really also kind of buffs her in a decent way, since lowering their speed buffs your speed. So overall, it's a pretty damn decent stone. And in worst case, if you don't have a reflex line, or if you want to do something like Nazarel, and on either side have people with FTS, the other one would be Vivid Fear. Even though there's some decent reflex there, you can always throw two FTSs. It's always going to work great. I mean, that good old counterattack resistance is just great. If you do that though, in the primes, you're gonna need to put something more counterattack. So stone-wise, depending on what unique you want to do, ideally, since Ardor just doesn't really do it for her. I mean, worst case scenario, you could throw Pterodox Blood, but stacking skills are out of the meta, especially in midline since she'll die. It's just not optimal. Um, what you're usually going to do is you're going to throw one of the Wormwind unique, Ardor critical damage, a Dark Reflex, and if you're throwing in FTS, then you're going to be doing anything really here to increase the speed. The 1-1-1 has critical resistance, so if you're running a Silk, it might actually be worth investing. And again, Ardor critical damage, and if not, you could go for the Whirlwind Penetration, who's pretty broken, or Whirlwind Critical, and in the primes, you're going to be throwing a Dark Penetration or a Dark Speed again. It's kind of your take on it. The idea just here is to throw more counterattack resistance because 40% isn't the cap. Um, so this helps people understand why she's actually decent, but she just isn't going to excel in the current meta because she doesn't bring enough to the table compared to most of the options that people are going for. Have a good day, guys, and if you have any more questions, just write them down in the comments as always.